Elena Rybakina walked into the arena with the kind of calm that only champions carry. The lights inside the stadium carved a white halo around the players as thousands of fans roared, knowing they were about to witness a battle that defined more than a title. It defined legacy. On one side stood the fiery world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, a fearsome competitor known for her raw power and intimidating intensity. On the other stood Elena Rybakina, the cool and quiet force of precision, composure, and iron-willed mental strength. And 0-1 expected the WTA Finals to unfold into one of the most commanding performances in recent tennis history. Rybakina didn't just win the title. She conquered the tournament without a single loss, finishing with one of the largest prize money paychecks ever recorded in tennis, $5.235 million. That staggering reward wasn't just a number. It symbolized the culmination of years of struggle, doubt, pain, and silence. Just a year earlier, Rybakina had left this same tournament feeling empty. She was exhausted, frustrated, and in many ways forgotten. Injuries had disrupted her season, ranking debates had overshadowed her accomplishments, and inconsistent form had made critics question whether she was still a contender. She heard every doubt, every whisper that said, "She isn't dominant enough, she's too quiet, she can't keep up with the game's biggest hitters anymore." But in 2025, she responded in the most powerful way possible, not with words, but with performance. The final against Sabalenka began with intensity from the very first serve. Sabalenka, known for overwhelming her opponents with pace and aggression, came out swinging. The Belarusian seemed determined to attack Rybakina's serve early, aiming to push her off balance. After all, Sabalenka had beaten Rybakina in the 2023 Australian Open final, and that memory still stung in Elena's mind. The narrative was simple. Sabalenka wanted to prove her dominance once more, and Rybakina wanted revenge. Yet as the match unfolded, something became crystal clear. Rybakina wasn't there to participate. She was there to take control. Her serves were thunderous, averaging near 200 kilometers per hour, even when dealing with the lingering effects of a sore shoulder, an injury that had worried her team just 24 hours earlier. She delivered each serve with surgical precision. On the other side of the net, Sabalenka was unleashing her usual ferocity, screaming after winners, pumping her fists to motivate herself and trying to intimidate. But Rybakina remained emotionless, stoic, unreadable. Her face didn't show excitement, panic, or fear. It was the face of a player completely locked. In 8-2 in the first set, the turning point arrived. Rybakina sensed a small dip in Sabalenka's confidence, just enough for an opening. She stepped forward aggressively, taking balls early, redirecting Sabalenka's pace into her own laser-flat winners. A backhand down the line carved into the corner, catching Sabalenka off guard. Then came the decisive moment. Rybakina earned a break point. With the entire stadium holding its breath, she fired a forehand winner down the line, the ball zipping past Sabalenka before she could even react. 4-2 Rybakina. The crowd erupted. The break changed everything. From there, Rybakina's aura grew. She radiated confidence in her court positioning, gliding from baseline to baseline. Sabalenka tried to increase her power, hoping to push Rybakina off balance. But every strike was absorbed and redirected like a mirror reflecting force back to its source. Serving for the set at 5-3, Rybakina faced pressure again. Sabalenka fought desperately, pushing the game to 15-40. It was exactly the kind of moment where world number ones thrive, moments where momentum can shift in just a few swings. But instead of folding, Rybakina responded with ice in her veins. She hit a precise ace into the corner, followed by back-to-back unreturnable serves. It was a statement. 40 minutes into the match, she closed out the first set 6-3. Sabalenka walked back to her bench visibly shaken. Her shoulders were tense. Her breathing was heavier. She looked across the net and saw someone who refused to flinch. Rybakina, meanwhile, sat quietly. No fist bumps. No theatrics. She calmly sipped water and twirled her hair. Her focus was absolute. The second set was Sabalenka's chance to make it a fight. She came out more aggressive, stepping inside the baseline and punishing second serves. But Rybakina didn't retreat. She matched Sabalenka's aggression with calculated patience, absorbing power and striking with even more precision. What followed was some of the cleanest serving tennis of the year. In her first 4 service games of the second set, Rybakina lost only 2 points total. The crowd started murmuring. Analysts looked at their monitors with disbelief. Commentators kept repeating the same phrase. Rybakina is unbreakable today. Sabalenka tried everything. Drop shots, Change of pace, hitting to Rybakina's backhand. Nothing worked. Rybakina's backhand in particular became ruthless, flattening out each ball with minimal topspin, threading the line with machine-like accuracy. Sabalenka grew increasingly emotional, gesturing angrily to her team box, yelling in frustration as she racked up unforced errors. Errors she couldn't afford against someone playing with such clarity. Like a T5-5, Sabalenka had a chance to break. She pushed Rybakina into long rallies, forcing her to move corner to corner. But just as Sabalenka gained momentum, Rybakina unleashed a serve that exploded off the line. Even Sabalenka had no chance to react. It echoed in every corner of the arena like a gunshot. 6 that a tiebreak was coming. The energy shifted. Everyone felt it. Even the commentators paused for several seconds in silence before acknowledging the significance of what was unfolding. The tiebreak began with both players tense, but Rybakina immediately delivered a mini break with a backhand return winner, so clean it drew gasps from the audience. Sabalenka attempted to reset, bouncing the ball aggressively, glaring at the far baseline as if willing the match to change through force, but it never did. Point after point, Rybakina dismantled her. Sabalenka double faulted out of pure pressure. Rybakina, in contrast, delivered a flawless series of first serves, each carving into the corners with deadly precision. Her racket seemed like an extension of her mind. Every decision, the right one. Every execution, exact. 6-0. Rybakina stood at championship point with 6 chances to seal the match. The stadium rose to its feet. The tension was overwhelming, yet Elena looked serene, almost peaceful. She tossed the ball into the air, reached up, and launched one final serve. Sabalenka lunged for the return, but the ball came off her racket frame and flew wildly out of bounds. It was over. Rybakina stood still for a moment. Not screaming, not crying, just absorbing what she'd achieved. She had beaten the world number one. She had won the WTA Finals undefeated. She had claimed the biggest prize money payout in WTA history. And she did it with her style, silent, elegant, impossible to intimidate. When she finally raised her arms, the arena erupted. Sabalenka walked over and embraced her. Even in defeat, she knew what she had just witnessed. Mastery through composure. In the post-match ceremony, when Rybakina held up the trophy, her eyes shimmered under the lights. She may not show much emotion on court, but at that moment, her feelings were undeniable. She had silenced every critic. She had conquered every challenge. She had become champion of champions, and she did it without needing to shout, boast, or become the loudest voice in the room. She let her game speak.